Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ella here. Please like and share and subscribe and all of that good stuff. If you're new to the family, welcome to Ella's family. Thank you for tuning in, and if you're an old subscriber, I appreciate you for continuing to support my YouTube journey. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your love. I appreciate the times you take out to watch my videos, and I'm really grateful. So yeah, thank you. So today I wanted to take you through my journey, my fertility journey, and the things that I discovered, things that I was never told, things that I discovered when I decided that I wanted to have a girl child. I had been a mom of four, and I wanted, did I say four? No. No. I had been a mom of two boys already, and I wanted a girl. I desperately wanted a girl. I really wanted a girl. So I went on a journey to rediscover my body and discover things about my body that I didn't know, that I wasn't taught. So if you're interested in knowing those kind of things, or if you're interested in hearing my story, stay tuned and I'll be right back. So, when I decided, when after so much persuasion and talking to my husband and threatening and doing all sorts of things to get my husband to agree for us to have a third child, and I thought, hang on a sec, I'm getting old. I am older than I was when I first had my first child, who is 10 years old, and my daughter is 8 months. So you can see the gap between them. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know how this journey is going to go. But there's one thing that I've always had, that I never really knew why. And I've always told, growing up in an African home, I mean, if you've ever grown up in a Nigerian home, you know that they say, oh yeah, if you've got period, don't worry. When you give birth to your children, the period pain will just go away. Lies. No, they don't go away. After I had my kids, I had even more worse pain than anyone could imagine. I would literally be crawling 4 days in a month. That means I was barely able to do anything. I couldn't move, I couldn't drive, I couldn't walk. I was literally in pain for 4 days every single month without fail. And I didn't know why I suffered with so much pain. I didn't even know that you could go to a doctor for that. It was a friend of mine who said to me that, have you actually thought of going to a doctor to get that checked out? And I thought, no, they told me that, I'm sure, after, if I have another kid, by the time I finish, the pain will go away. And I was still living in disbelief. I never really did. To be honest with you, I never really went to the doctors, but it kept, then it prompted me to start asking questions. I started to do research because the pain was getting too much and it was getting unbearable. And in my process of TTC, which is trying to conceive, for those of you who don't know, I realized that I had a lot of, that maybe the painful periods were not so normal as I grew older, and that was having an effect on me conceiving. Because when I wanted to have my first and the second child, we didn't really talk that much. We just decided we're gonna have the kid, and I'm one of those that they call touch and go. So it was like, bang, we're trying, and I would just get pregnant. So I didn't know what it was to experience secondary fertility issues. And as I grew older and had more period pains, I started to do research, and I started to listen to homeopathic videos. And I found this book, which I'm going to show you. Ignore the squeaky sound. I found this book. I don't know if it's focused enough. It's taking charge of your fertility, and this book literally changed my life. This book answered all the questions that nobody ever told me growing up in an African home about my body. I had no idea about things, how my body worked. I had no idea about my cycle, because I usually had like consistent cycle and they were, bang on dates. I never really thought of anything of it in terms of the painful period. And then when I started to read, I realized that my cycle, even though they were consistent and to date, what I realized when I was trying for my third baby was that I didn't ovulate on time. Oh, another thing, I think I'm going to do a video on that. It's ovulation pain. See, I used to have this pain in the middle of my cycle, and I never used to know why. I would just hear a twitch and I would just think, what's that? Is the period coming? And I would just forget about it. It might last 1 or 2 days. But I had a very horrifying experience in 2018. I would do another video, especially about ovulation pain. Sis, come closer. Ovulation pain is real. I know a lot of African moms, African parents don't know the wiser, so they don't teach us. I never knew anything about ovulation, but I didn't even know it existed. So I had been in this pain for 30 something years of my life, and I didn't know that it was ovulation pain. That is for another video, but going on this fertility journey. So I started to read this book, and this book taught me so many things in 5 months that I didn't know in 30 years about my body. And I started to understand why I had the ovulation pains in the middle of my cycle and why I had period pains. And to understand that after ovulation, which is my DPO days, days past ovulation, that my progesterone level was so fluctuated that it caused me to have those painful periods. It meant that the time where the lining of the womb was shed, which is called your period, I was getting more of I don't even know how to explain it. I was getting more of the adverse effect because my progesterone was trying to combat my progesterone, which is the hormone that comes after you've had a period. And I didn't know this. And I realized that homeopathically, there are things that you can do to avoid the period pain. So come closer. If you've got period pain, if you've suffered from period pain, I can't remember the medical term for it, but if you've got severe period pain where you're literally crawling on the floor during your monthly cycle, sis, it's not normal. It's Ignore all the things that we hear from our African parents and all those things that you say, oh, after childbirth, it's going to go away. No, it's not normal. You need to seek advice. You need to go to the doctor. You need to, you need to seek medical advice. If you want to try the homeopathic way, acupuncture actually helps, because what it does is that those needles, because I also tried acupuncture. I tried everything. Because in the quest to have this baby girl, I did everything. I tried acupuncture because after I had a miscarriage, which is like something I would share in another video. After I had a miscarriage, everything was so erratic, and I needed to understand why I had the miscarriage and what my body was doing. So I was also advised to do acupuncture, which I did and which helped. So back to the period. So what I started to do was 14 days. So halfway through my cycle, what I would do is start to watch what I was eating. I know nobody tells you about that, but what you consume after your ovulation actually could trigger your period pain. If you're used to taking like sugary things, if you're used to taking dairy, sometimes dairy products, but most of the time it's mostly sugar and carbohydrates that are high in sugar that turn into sugar real quick. So I started to jot down what I was eating 14 days, because I was able to track my cycle because I was quite on time. And I started to track down what I was eating 14 days prior to when I was expecting my next cycle. And I realized that the times that I was consciously eliminating sugar from my diet and eliminating carbs and putting more of antioxidants like blueberries, like eating more of green leafy greens, and just cutting the soda, cutting the sugar, anything that had sugar or that was going to break down the sugar more quickly. I would avoid that to 14 days to my period. I tried it the first month and voila, there was no period pain. I was like, are you kidding me? For 30 something years, I had struggled with this period pain issue, and I was only able to have 1 month of just being deliberate about what I ate, put in my mouth for 14 days after ovulation. And I started doing this, and I did this for a few months before conceiving, because I realized that my hormones were not quite balanced, even though I had like normal periods, and I didn't have, nobody said I had a cyst, even though a lot of times when I had the ovulation pain, I had been to scans and doctors had said to me, oh, that it might be a cyst, but it wasn't really, it was just ovulation pain. So I changed my diet, and the things that I ate were leafy greens, blueberries. I stayed away from acidic things. And I just generally was very conscious, and I drank a lot of water, because I think a lot of times that women don't realize that our cervical fluid is water. So the less water you drink, the less cervical fluid that you have, and the less fertile you are. So that I learned as well along my TTC journey, that I needed to drink more water because I wasn't drinking that. I needed to refine my diet to curb the period pains. And then in terms of like trying to conceive this girl, I probably would do another video of that. But I just wanted to come here just to talk about period pains, and just to talk about things that we were never taught when growing up in an African home. Someone like me, I was just taught you have a period, and if you sleep with anybody you will get pregnant. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know that the period might come with pain. I didn't know how to avoid the pain. I didn't know that what I can eat can affect like the pain that you have. And so yeah, I came on here just to educate a lot of people. A lot of people who, if you were like anybody like me, who didn't know that period pains were as a result of what I ate, and not necessarily that childbirth was going to make it go away. If you're anything like me and you suffer from period pain, and you're trying to have a baby, and it's not, I mean, you should naturally seek help. If you're trying and you've tried for a while, you should seek professional help. But I think that also what we put into our bodies, what we put into what we inhale, especially toxins as well, they also affect our cycles as women. And a lot of times, that especially from women from minority, we're not taught this, so we don't know. Because I didn't know that the bleach that I inhaled, the things that I was eating prior to ovulation and after ovulation, which is the most important time for when you want to conceive, I was doing all those wrong. And I had to reread this book, and this book literally changed my fertility, because I started to understand that in order for me to, as an older lady, not in my 20s anymore, as I get into my mid-30s trying to conceive, I needed to do certain things to trigger my body to get the message, to trigger my body to be prepared for the journey of childbirth, to be prepared for the journey of conception. So I also, this another thing that I realized when I was TTCing was chatting. I also knew that's how I knew that my progesterone level went up and down in some months. Some months they were higher than they should be, by just chatting my basal body temperature, BBT. I think that regardless of if you're trying to conceive or not, every woman, every girl should be taught how to chat their cycle. I think I can't stress how important it is to understand how your body moves and how your body behaves in for every cycle, because every cycle is different. I know we just say, oh yeah, if you have 28 days, 27 days, there are certain factors that actually make our cycles to be either 28, 30, 31, 32, whatever your cycle date is. But chatting your cycle every single month. And BBT basically is getting your basal body temperature. So when, as a woman, when you wake up, our basal body temperature have a certain, that they have a certain level they should be. I'll put that in the screen because I don't want to give wrong information. I'll look in the book and put it in the screen what it should be before you ovulate, just after your period, and after you ovulate, which is your luteal phase, what your temperature should be like. And if your temperature is, if you have high temperature, your basal body temperature is high before ovulation, then you know that there's something wrong. And if your basal body temperature, it doesn't remain high after ovulation, then you can kind of track what is causing my what is my progesterone level doing as opposed to my estrogen level, because you need estrogen before your ovulation, and progesterone is, the hormone that is responsible for the fertilization and everything that happens after ovulation, which is why it's called progesterone. Gestation, the forming of the baby. And when you're chatting your cycle, it has to be the exact same time every single day. So before you do anything in the day, before you get up to do a wee, you need to make sure that you've taken your basal body temperature. You can't move around and then come back and take the temperature. It has to be at the same time. When you literally just open your eyes, the moment you open your eyes in your bed, I would advise maybe put the thermometer under your pillow, because that's what I used to do. So I literally don't have to move. So the moment I open my eyes, I'm reaching out for my thermometer, and it goes straight in my mouth, and I read my temperature before I stand up on the bed to do a wee or do anything else. The moment you open your eyes, that's when you need to take your body temperature. So I had to learn a lot of these things, and I learned it from this book, Changing Your Fertility. And by the way, the book is from Tony Wessler. Tony Wessler is the author of the book. This is not a paid advert, by the way. I'm only just sharing this because I want to educate the girl child in Africa. I want to educate women in that minority, especially from Africa, especially from Nigeria, where it's a taboo to talk about sex, to talk about fertility, or to talk about just women's body. Our culture doesn't, is not something that we are into in our culture. Most of our parents don't shy away from actually talking to their female child about sex, about fertility, and about, some of our parents actually struggled with infertility, but they don't tell us because we're so our culture is so we depend on God, which you should depend on God, but our culture is so it's so Christian focused that, whilst we pray, it's important to also know what is happening to your physical body. But I think the praying aspect of our lives overshadows that, and our parents don't really talk to us about that, which is probably not fault of them, because they weren't taught that way anyway. So if you don't know something, how are you going to impact that to somebody else? And I found that just restudying my body and understanding how my body works, understanding why my cycle was going in different directions, and the basal body temperature thermometer that I use is thermometer. I loved thermometer because it was able to tell me, to analyze signs. That's when I knew that some months I was ovulating later than some months. I wasn't, the implantation dip wasn't coming because my progesterone level was fluctuating. So I needed to do something to get my body to regulate my progesterone, so that after ovulation I would be able, because I was literally tracking every single day of my cycle, because I was so determined to get this girl, that I was so obsessed with doing so many things. I think I would do another video of my journey, my actual journey towards getting Mimi, my daughter. And I think that it's important that I come to you today to talk about fertility, to talk about our bodies, to talk about the painful periods that we have as women, to talk about the myth that says, oh, when you give birth, your period to, the painful periods will go away. Painful periods are not normal. If you have a painful period, it's not normal. You should seek help. You should seek, either you're seeking homeopathic help, which is like natural help, where you understand the signs of your body, where you chart your cycle, where you understand what is going on with your hormones during your different stages of your cycle, and or just seek medical help. No, you shouldn't suffer with painful period pains by yourself. It's not normal. It shouldn't be. Your period should not be dark. It should be almost bright red and non-painful. It shouldn't be painful at all. So if you're suffering from painful period like I do sometimes, when I don't watch what I eat and when I'm not paying attention to my body, you need to go and seek help. It's not normal. Don't ignore what our parents taught us. Ignore that Nigerian thing that says when you have kids, or that African thing that says the more you have kids, the easier it will be. No, lies, 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 lies. Please go and check yourself, check your body, ask for medical help, seek medical help, seek homeopathic treatments, educate yourself with the book. I'll put the link, the name of the book in the description. Taking Charge of Your Fertility by Tony Wessler. This book will literally transform your life. If you've never read any book in your life, I implore you to read this book. And if you've been suffering from hormonal issues, I promise you that you will learn one or two things from this book. So thank you guys for watching this video. This video is especially dedicated to Nigerian mamas like myself, African moms like myself, who were never taught about, fertility, who were never taught about, our bodies, and who were just given, always, and just say, yeah, period is coming on. After this period, anything that you do, you just get pregnant. Yes, we hear that, but you do need to understand what goes on in your body. First of all, chart your cycle. You need to understand how your hormones are working. If you've got painful periods, please seek medical advice or homeopathic treatment. And what else have I talked about? What I did, I tried acupuncture, and that really helped to release the blood flow just before ovulation, to make sure that my blood was flowing enough to the ovulation. Oh, drink water. Make sure that you're drinking water, because our cervical fluid in the womb, in the female body, is basically water. If you're trying to conceive and you're not drinking enough water, sis, you're doing the wrong thing. Your cervical fluid, and that your cervical fluid, which is what makes you fertile, which is the fluid down below. If you're not drinking enough water, how is your body going to produce this fluid? You need to ensure that you're drinking enough water during your TTC. So make sure you're charting your cycle. Make sure that if you're having painful periods, please check it out before. If you're TTCing, or even if you're not TTCing, make sure you think about what you're eating 14 days to when you're having your period. Water. I can't stress enough. And chat your cycle. Chat. Leave me in a comment below if you've ever suffered from period pain, or if you suffer from period pain and you want to kind of know what the diet, what I eat during 14 days to me having my cycle. If you want me to share that with you, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let's chat about our fertility. I think it's important that we as African women should be able to talk about what is happening in our bodies. We don't talk about that enough, probably because our culture doesn't allow us to, or not doesn't allow us. Our culture is not, it's not a norm for us, and most of the time it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about it. I mean, heck, it was uncomfortable for me. It still is, because I'm relearning how to talk about and learn about my fertility. So if you're struggling like me, let's have a discussion in the comment section below. But for now, thank you for watching my video. I would make a video about October is I think October is the infant loss month, so I would talk about my journey towards having Waimi, which is my daughter, and my miscarriage, and that is a testimony in itself, which I would share here. But for now, I just wanted to bring this to you, so to help the girl child in Africa, to help the woman who is struggling with period pains, the woman who doesn't know about chatting, charting your cycle, not chatting as in chatting, but charting your cycle. And I hope this has been helpful. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you for watching. Bye bye.